I'm okay.
Yeah?
I'm a little nervous. That's to be expected.
You are gonna be great, okay?
I really want this whole thing to be over so Eva can finally pay for what she's done.
Please just remember what we talked about. Keep your composure, stay calm, and do not let Rick rattle you.
Hi, sweetie. How are you? Okay, good to see you, teacher.
You too.
You got this.
So, did anyone else notice that General Hospital on Hulu has swapped out Carly for Anna? Like, what happened there? Did they just decide to switch it up for fun? Or are we supposed to pretend we didn't notice? Oh, and speaking of GH, did Nikolas Coloma just die? Or is it just me imagining things? I know the other actor who played Nikolas passed away, so I'm just trying to keep track of all the drama. Now, about Christina and the baby. Look, she was biologically the mom, and she felt every single movement that baby made. She could tell what music the baby liked from the kicks, what voice made her smile, and what she craved. That's some serious bonding. Surrogates are still called moms, so it's not like Christina was just a stranger. This baby had two mothers who loved her deeply. Lucky kid, right? She had a whole village of people who cared about her. So why are Christina and Molly arguing over who the baby belonged to when, there's no baby to fight over anymore? Instead of fighting, shouldn't they just grieve together? Both of them lost something precious, so why does one need to grieve more than the other? Let them both mourn in their own way. There's no competition here. Oh, and as for moving into the Quartermain mansion, looks like they might need to build an extension to fit everyone. It's getting crowded in there. But hey, Monica's probably thrilled that Jason's coming back. That's exactly where he belongs, right? He wants Danny to live with Scout, and Drew's all, yeah, no problem, I'll commute. As if that's not a huge logistical nightmare. But hey, whatever works. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. For the last time, can we just talk about how completely ridiculous it is that everyone is living in the Quartermain mansion? I mean, seriously, how many people does one house need? Maybe the writers are just trying to save money on sets? Who knows? But I'm really curious, what's going to happen to the penthouse where Sam, Dante, and their family were living? Because I can't imagine Jason, Mr. Lone Wolf himself, putting up with all those people around him. That should be entertaining at least. Picture the chaos at breakfast every morning. Sasha's going to need a major raise if she's going to cook for that circus. And speaking of big changes, did anyone see Chad Duell's Instagram post? He's leaving General Hospital. Great, just what we need. Another familiar face disappearing. No word on when his last scenes are airing though, so we're left in suspense. Fantastic. Honestly, what is going on behind the scenes at this point? First, Kelly's gone, which was a disaster, and now Chad is out. Kin's been posting like he's definitely done, so I'm pretty sure he's really leaving this time too. Feels like we're losing all the faces we've watched for years. It's honestly kind of depressing. Is Robert Adamson going to take over as Michael? I guess we'll find out. As for Chad's decision, if he made it, then good for him. He knows what's best for him and his family. He's got a new baby at home after all, so maybe he wants to be there more for those little milestones. I'm guessing he'll be recast and not killed off, but with how things are going lately, who the heck knows anymore? Sasha seriously needs a raise, or at least an assistant. I mean, she's got a whole army of people to cook for now, and I'm starting to feel bad for her. If she doesn't get a paycheck bump soon, she's going to burn out. And speaking of cooking, what on earth is going to happen this Thanksgiving at the Quartermain mansion? We all know it's never a smooth holiday there, but with this crowd, something's cooking, and I don't think it's the typical turkey and stuffing. Just a hunch. As for General Hospital on Thanksgiving, brace yourselves for a rerun. I saw the spoilers, and apparently it's when Tracy meets Gio. The spoiler itself even said the episode is nothing special. Wow, thanks for the honesty, GH. Expect Carly and Jason talking about whatever it is they talk about, And, of course, something with Trina. Oh, and GH won't be airing on Friday either. So much for any big plans. Now, Tracy definitely knows who Gio is. He's been living with her for months. But of course, let's pretend like this is some big reveal. I get reruns on Thanksgiving, it's tradition. But you know how they always do those comedy segments about everything going wrong, and then they end up ordering pizza? Well, this year with all those people and kids, yeah, this is going to be one for the books. I can only imagine how that's going to play out. Oh, and remember that moment when Gio played the violin after Sam's funeral? That music was just so sad. I'm one of those people who listens to certain songs and suddenly starts tearing up, and I'll be honest, it catches me off guard every time. I once asked my doctor which pill he gave me that makes me cry at songs. He just smiled and said, "I don't know which one." Great, doc. Thanks for the clarity. Wishing everyone a fantastic Thanksgiving. Remember to be thankful for the people who are still around, and take a moment to laugh and remember the ones we've lost. And for those brave Black Friday shoppers, go ahead and pick me up something cute. I mean, I wouldn't say no to a little surprise. Lol. Now, onto something that's been bugging me. Did we ever get a resolution to John Cates's murder? I wasn't exactly a fan of the guy, but seriously, he was an FBI agent who went rogue, and then poof, he's a MURDRD in Port Charles. And what happened? Did the FBI just pack up and leave town once the charges against Alexis were dismissed? Because, from where I'm sitting, it sure looks like they did. No investigation of Sonny? Really? He was literally the #1 suspect, and no one even questioned it. The FBI had to have known about the bad blood between Sonny and Jagger. How do they just ignore that? And let's not forget Dante, who stepped in to stop his dad from confessing to the murder when he knew Sonny did it. At this point, I think the whole town knows Sonny killed Cates, yet somehow he faced 0 consequences. No charges, no punishment, nothing. But hey, who was supposed to hold him accountable? Anna? The same Anna who's been walking around with a very shady past. What happened to this entire story? Did I miss something? Or are we just supposed to forget that a murder happened in the middle of Port Charles and no one cared? So all of a sudden, Christina goes from my baby to our baby. After months of claiming ownership over the baby, she now tells Molly how to testify for our baby and insists Molly should do it for the Davis women. Seriously? Once again, Christina and Alexis prove they're not exactly the most supportive when it comes to Molly. Remember when Christina first found out the baby had died? She immediately called it their baby. Molly and Christina shared the grief together, crying side by side. Now Christina's playing this united front act. It's a little rich, don't you think? So when Ava is finally cleared, what about Avery? I'm guessing Ava will be cleared, because, let's face it, it was an accident. But now we've got this whole other issue, custody of Avery. I mean, does it ever end with Sonny? This time, it's all about him trying to punish Eva and, of course, denying his daughter the right to see her mother. Classic Sonny move, selfishly holding onto Avery out of some petty revenge. Ava hasn't seen her daughter in ages, and Sonny has been keeping them apart for what, exactly? His endless vendettas? Murderous Sonny doesn't have the right to keep Avery from her mom for this long. It's about time they wrap this up and get to a shared custody agreement. Honestly though, when is this ever going to go to trial or court or whatever? It's like Sonny gets away with everything, and at this point, I'm just so over it. So Cody, Josh Kelly, helps out a stranger. Could it be Lulu? I mean, if it is, that would be interesting, right? People are already speculating that they might chem test them together. Who knows? Cody's already seen photos of Lulu, and he's even sat by her bedside to give Dante a break. Of course, there were machines hooked up to her, and a screen blocking her from our view. So yeah, I'm not buying that she's a complete stranger to him. Didn't we hear about a new character named Lauren who had no idea who she was? I swear I read about that somewhere. Now, one person posted that Lulu escapes from turning woods. Not sure how accurate that is, but you know what? I'm kind of buying it. Spoilers say she's about to take a big risk, so this could be it. It makes sense she'd run into Cody, especially if she's trying to get away. Even though Cody's sat by her bedside, she's still a stranger to him, and vice versa, since they've never actually met while she was conscious. The next spoiler says Lulu sees someone familiar, so maybe she runs into Cody, and he either takes her to Dante or calls him or whatever. Oh, and did anyone else catch that moment where Lulu was slapping at her legs in the hospital bed? Yeah, that was totally the writer's way of letting us know she didn't just wake up and poof, she's suddenly good to go for a 5K run. But give it a day or two, and I'm sure she'll be out there jogging. Classic soap logic. Let's be real. If Lulu's been in a coma for 4 years, there's no way she's just hopping out of bed and walking around. She'd have lost all muscle tone in her legs and everything else. It's a bit outlandish, right? But hey, we're talking about a soap opera here, where logic takes a backseat to drama. No one wants to see her lying in a hospital bed for another 2 months. Honestly, I'm just happy they showed that she isn't ready to walk yet when she tried to get out of the bed and fell flat on her face. That's enough for me. Let's get her out of that hospital and away from Cyrus already. I want to see Lulu back in Port Charles, interacting with people, whether she's hiding from Cyrus or telling Dante all about him. What's next for her? I know she escaped turning woods, and right now, the only thing going for her is that no one knows she's awake. But she's going to need meds to prevent her body from rejecting Sam's liver. So there's that. Honestly, this is still a little more believable than what they did on My and Our Remember, when Phyllis was in a coma while Michelle Stafford was over on GH. When they recast Phyllis and she came out of the coma, she had 0 deficits. 0. She just popped out of bed, got dressed, left the hospital, hitchhiked from Georgia to Wisconsin, put on a wedding dress, and crashed a wedding. Seriously? I'm sure we won't get months of physical rehab like we did with Curtis. I mean, I eventually got tired of watching Curtis in physical therapy, but at least it felt real until they pulled that miracle surgery nonsense. That turned stupid real quick. As for Lulu, she just needs to grab the call button, have the nurse come in, and boom, she's awake and ready to go. But the previews are kind of frustrating, right? Of course, Cyrus finds her on the floor, and somehow no one else comes in to check on her. Typical, but don't worry, soon someone else will find out she's awake, and she'll be interacting with people. Finally, so Lulu wakes up, disoriented and in excruciating pain, with no idea where she is or how she ended up sliced open from head to toe. It's clear she's hurting, but hey, who needs logic when you're Lulu? Instead of doing the sensible thing, like, say, pressing that little red button and asking for help, she decides the best course of action is to try and get up and walk it off. Never mind that her body might literally fall apart in the process. But then again, thinking things through has never been her strong suit. And when someone finally walks in to check on her, she plays dead, in the most dramatic way possible. Are we supposed to believe this is brain damage, or is it just Lulu being, well, Lulu? Here's where things get extra weird. For weeks, Dante camped out by her bedside, and the entire world seemed obsessed with making sure someone was always there because they didn't want her to be alone. Fast forward to the moment Lulu finally wakes up, and surprise, nobody's around, not a soul. So all those hours of people chanting her name 500 times a day? Yeah, that was clearly just so Dante could guilt trip himself for not spending time with Sam. Now we'll probably get to hear Laura whine about how she wasn't there when Lulu woke up. But of course, she was off at Sam's funeral. No, wait, she was Mia. And speaking of missing details, does Lulu even think she and Dante are still together? I can't wait for that awkward reunion. That's going to be something. A more thoughtful take on Lulu. Let's not forget, Lulu's actually pretty smart. She's just in survival mode right now. She's just come out of a coma and has no idea where she is. But she does know one thing for sure. Cyrus is evil. Why would she go alerting anyone to her being awake after overhearing the doctors talking to him? That would be a terrible idea, especially if she thinks the whole team is working for him. Lulu is a fighter. She's strong, capable, and will do whatever it takes to save herself. In her mind, she's probably thinking she's been kidnapped and needs to escape. Not, oh, I've been in a coma for 4 years. Better be careful with my first steps. It's not about being cautious. It's about survival. When she struggles to move, it's clear she's not giving up. She's just playing the long game, pretending to be out cold, waiting for the right moment to make her escape. Because that's what Lulu does. She bides her time, and when the moment's right, she'll fight her way out. So Dante and the kids should totally move into the Q mansion. After all, they've practically become a family now. Scout and Danny are officially quartermains. Dante's mom and brother already live there, and the place is huge. Plus, I'm pretty sure Scout and Danny have their own rooms because, let's be real, Sam always made a point of saying the kids were sleeping over at the Q's. That house is already like their second home. And seriously, Tracy even mentioned over the summer how packed the mansion was with all the kids running around. So, it's not exactly a foreign concept to them. Now, I've read a spoiler that Alexis wants to whisk Danny and Scout away to live with her, but let's be honest, everyone staying in the same house would be hilarious. Can you imagine Tracy already overwhelmed with a full house of kids? That's a sitcom waiting to happen. Here's the thing though, the only real issue I see is Dante. If they all end up in that house, I'm not sure he's going to be able to stop playing the I'm in charge card. I mean, love him or hate him, those kids have fathers who have rights to raise them however they see fit. I don't think Dante is just going to step aside and let things slide. Now, if it's just a case of everyone being in the same house for visits and whatnot, then sure, that could work. But there's one thing I absolutely do not want to see. Danny tormenting Rocco because of his mom. No, I don't want to watch them hate each other. Yes, grief is complicated, but blaming Rocco for something his mom did? That's just too much. It's totally unfair to put that on him. It honestly blows my mind that Christina keeps blaming Ava for the baby's death. Seriously, how does she figure that's Ava's fault? Ava didn't push Christina out of the window. Christina tripped over John's bag. Her feet got tangled in the strap, and it twisted her around, sending her straight through that window. Even the photo where Ava has her hand on Christina's shoulder doesn't show any evidence of a push. At that angle, Christina's facing Ava, nowhere near the window. If Ava had pushed her and Christina had pulled back, she wouldn't have gone through the window at all. Christina started with her back to it and fell out face first. Now, let's imagine if the bag weren't there. If Ava had actually pushed her, wouldn't she have fallen backward? Christina knows deep down that Ava didn't push her. She knows she's partly responsible for the accident, but she's dead set on making Ava pay for it anyway. I'm really hoping Ava wins in court, and then Christina totally loses it. Maybe she'll end up at Turning Woods in Lulu's spot. Heck, they could even share a room. As for Joss, she's clearly out to get Ava because of what happened with Morgan, but honestly, those two girls better start thinking about the consequences of making Ava their enemy. Ava's not exactly someone you want to mess with, and I can't wait to see what Rick has up his sleeve. Sounds like he's got a surefire plan to guarantee Ava a win. I'm not exactly sure what Cyrus's endgame is, but I've got a theory. Maybe he poisoned an IV bag before surgery, thinking it was going to Lulu, but somehow it ended up being switched to Sam instead. Who knows, but it fits the kind of twisted schemes he pulls. I also wouldn't be surprised if Cyrus tried to shut off Lulu's ventilator. In that flashback where Lulu confronted him about the article, there was definitely something there. Could Lulu have some kind of evidence against Cyrus that he's terrified she might use? Maybe he's trying to cover his tracks before that comes to light. Honestly, I still believe Lulu woke up from the coma pretty soon after she went in, but Cyrus is the one keeping her in that coma-like state by poisoning her. I think that's what wrecked her liver. It's all about keeping her out of the way, making sure she can't fight back or expose him. But now, I think she's finally starting to come out of it. Laura cut off Cyrus's access to her, and with less of a chance for him to keep messing with her meds, Lulu's waking up. At least that's my theory. We'll see if I'm right. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.